Yesterday, the Kings were getting Brandon Ingram. Today, they're getting a star from the East. And that price tag really was pretty good on Brandon Ingram. But this is the season of mock drafts. If your team is already cooked, just like the Kings are cooked. And Chris, who does Bleacher Report have coming to the Kings, and what's it going to cost them?
Yeah, Alan, I'm very sorry to report this for you because anyone who listened to the show yesterday or has listened to the show in the past couple of weeks knows your feelings on this. But Bleacher Report is trying to send Jimmy Butler over to Sacramento. And
I'm not, look.
Yeah.
Hold on. No.
Yeah.
I'm not against it. I just need to know what it costs.
Yes. And when you learn what it's going to cost, Alan, let me tell you, you're not going to change your mind. And we did the trades yesterday, right? Alan just looked at the trade. When we read off yesterday the Bleacher Report article that had the Kings potentially getting Brandon Ingram in their Jimmy Butler trade, it was, I think it was 3 players and 3 first-round picks for Jimmy Butler. Alan, I've got almost the exact same trade for you from the Kings' perspective. This is, again, from Bleacher Report. They have one new trade idea for every team, and this was released yesterday. So this is brand new. Harrison Barnes, Kevin Huerter, Davion Mitchell, the number 13 pick.
No.
2028 first-round pick.
No.
And a first-round pick in 2030. When Alan's child will be entering high school.
I'll be coaching her softball team
for Jimmy Butler, and that's it, which is kind of crazy to me. I think
that's it.
I think you would probably want, hopefully, just like, I don't know, somebody give me Hayward Highsmith or something. I don't give me something else if I'm giving up Harrison Barnes, Kevin Huerter, Davion Mitchell, this year's 13th pick, the 2028 first round pick, and 2030 first round pick when Rain Fox will potentially be entering the draft. Or maybe his new kid. I don't even know what's going to be happening. Here's the write-up from Bleacher Report trying to explain. While the Heat could not sound less interested in a Butler blockbuster, perhaps a few anxious rounds of extension negotiations could change that. Between his lengthy injury history and upcoming 35th birthday, he won't necessarily just be handed a blank check. But if Miami tries penny pinching on a new deal, maybe Butler will decide it's time for him to move on. It isn't quite a perfect schematic fit in Sacramento as he's low volume, low efficiency, 3-point shooter. Still, the Kings could use his tenacity as a tone setter. That's what I'm talking about. Not to mention his big stage savvy, defensive versatility, and secondary scoring and shot creation. It would take an aggressive offer to pry him out of Miami, but this might qualify. I freaking hope so.
Yeah.
Especially if there are fans of Huerter and Mitchell in the Heat front office. This would give the Heat the number 13 and 15 pick in the draft, meaning they could beef up their youth in a hurry or have the flexibility to chase another star if one were to become up on the board. They might still need a pick swap or two to seriously consider this, which is crazy that the Heat would want more. But that's a concession the Kings could make if their initial offer can't get it done.
And then you got to pay, Jimmy the max.
Yes. He's already getting $250, pretty much 2 years, $100 million. And then he wants a max extension after that, which I think would be somewhere near that same ballpark range. So
I don't know that I've ever hated a trade more.
So let's talk about, if we can, at least just maybe we'll do both sides of this.
Sure.
The positives, I would say, are, again, you're trading off Harrison Barnes, who I think everyone's comfortable moving for, especially for a star. Kevin Huerter, who I think, again, same thing. Davion Mitchell, I think some people are a little undecided on, but I think, again, I don't know what Davion's future is. It's almost like Mike Brown, where he's kind of going into a lame duck season as well. And, I would honestly be really curious. This might be one of the lead storylines of next year. Like, what do people want to do with Davion? Do you want to extend him? Do you want to try and find something else? Do you want to kind of do exactly what you did to get him and just take a backup point guard in the draft? So that's kind of an interesting decision that's looming that you can kind of get rid of. 13th pick, we've talked about the indecision at 13 anyway. And, of course, the big ones are 28 and 30, where Jimmy Butler 4 years from now is going to be 39 years old.
39.
Who knows if he'll be on the Kings? And that's just the first of your, well, I guess it's technically the second, but you still have a 2030 pick where Jimmy Butler will be 41 years old, probably, hopefully at that point, not on the Kings anymore, but you're essentially,
it could be his kid.
It definitely could be. I mean, at that point, you're just kind of, if you're Miami, you're saying, well, this is an organization that's been bad for 16 years and been above average for 2. I think I'll take the odds that 8 years from now or 6 years from now, maybe that'll be one of their down years and we'll get a good pick. So it's that this to me reeks of, and I don't even necessarily mean this in a completely negative way, but it kind of reeks of desperation. Like, to me, this is look, Allen bought the Carolina Reaper. It's being shipped over here. Right. We need to do something. And that to me is the only way I can really palate this kind of move.
And I'm not even against giving all that up. I'm against giving all that up for Jimmy Butler.
35 is tough.
I will give that much up for a player. But it ain't Jimmy Butler. From the 916, please, God, no. No Jimmy Buckets.
I just hear like the Michael Scott, no, God, no.
I mean, the other positive is, sure, you're not giving up. Would you trade if it's, just throw Keegan, fine. Throw Keegan in and you can keep the 2 picks in Davion. I don't want to do that either.
I don't want to do that, yeah.
I don't want to do that either. No, stay far away from Coffee Man. Stay far away from what
he's got good commercials with Jaime Hawkins.
Yeah, right? Stay far away from Mr. Panic at the Disco.
Big face, yeah.
No, thank you.
Yeah, it's a little rich. I mean, Jimmy's been a 20-point per game scorer his last 4 years, really 5 years since he's gotten in Miami. He's been a 20-point per game scorer.
Who do you think you are?
But yeah, I mean, you're getting somebody who's good defensively, but as he ages, his athleticism and maybe his general usefulness starts to decline. And Jimmy's somebody who has always kind of picked him up from his bootstraps and elevated himself to otherworldly performances. The older he gets, the less he'll be able to channel any of that. And so I've been on this station promoting the Kings getting, frankly, directly Jimmy Butler, but a guy like Jimmy Butler, I just don't think that it's worth this kind of price. This is too much for me. 3 first-round picks, 3 players that are all really big contributors for this team. The other point is Jimmy Butler even replacing the production of those 3 guys combined? Like, if you're taking out Harrison Barnes, Kevin Huerter, and Davion Mitchell and just throwing in Jimmy Butler, yeah, Jimmy's going to do some of the things that fill in the gaps there, but you're still, I feel like, overall missing a lot more than you're getting back.
And at that point, right, because you've done all that.
For an already imperfect team.
So now, I guess you're hoping that Malik Monk stays, so he's in the starting lineup. Because if he's not there, I don't even know who's. So Trey Lyles and Jimmy at the 2. What is happening?
I don't know.
What is that?
Maybe this is Bleacher Report balancing out the world, balancing out the universe. We only gave up 1 first-round pick for Brandon Ingram in their trade yesterday. Maybe this is them saying you're not going to get off that easy. And I really don't know. I think that the crazy thing is I don't think that that's not going to be what Jimmy goes for. I think it just takes one. I just don't think that one is going to be the Kings.
It better not be the Kings.
It's going to be somebody else.
And speaking of Jimmy,
there's a lot of Philly rumors with Jimmy.
There's a lot of Philly rumors. Yeah. And speaking of Jimmy, 2 mystery teams are willing to trade for Jimmy Butler and sign him to a full max extension. That is per Anthony Chang, who had more reports on Jimmy a couple days ago as well. He's the Miami Heat reporter for the Miami Herald. He says, along with the 76ers, according to league sources, there are 2 other teams that have made it known in league circles that they would be willing to trade for Butler and sign him to a max extension. Butler turns 35 on September 14th. One of those teams better be the Pistons, and the other team better be the Jazz. It better not be the Sacramento Kings.
The Jazz is interesting.
Yeah, go to Utah.
Yeah. I just know they really want somebody.
They got good coffee up there. Coming up next, TC, we see you. We'll get to you. Also, if Malik Monk leaves, we got a guy that could be a target. Do you want him? Let's find out. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Our first year as the radio home of the San Francisco 49ers